Squandered resource is really the engine of the deck. And this will actually wind up having significant added importance in this documentary because of the controversy surrounding Cadaverous Bloom, as if I would choose Cadaverous Bloom of all cards to have be hidden away. If I was going to hide a card or have a card that was an ace in the hole, it would certainly be squandered resources.
So my last round is playing against Michael Long. He's playing the Cadaverous Bloom deck.
The last round, the debacle. So do you want to get to that? How do you want to handle that?
Basically, what ends up happening is I believe a judge comes up and says something. I don't remember at this point what, but they basically take Mike Long's deck, and then sometime later they come back and they just tell me that I've been awarded a match win. And I don't think I really know what the hell just happened. I don't really know the circumstances. I don't know what caused it immediately. And then it was Seth who came to me later and tells me,
picture this. Table 1, table 2, I think all the way to table 4, table 6, they're all next to the sidelines. The spectators can view those tables. Mike Long was, I believe, at table 1 when a guy by the name of Anthony Cantu spotted the Cadaverous Bloom in the lap. This was a situation where there was lots of eyes on the game because the spectators could view it. It was a spectator who happened to see the situation and call the judge. It's visible. I have had eyes on the Bloom in the lap. And so I saw it with my own eyes. He was sitting, it was not technically on the lap, although historically it is known as the Bloom in the lap, but it was the Bloom on the chair.
So there's this huge, long hallway. And inside one of those little side rooms is where they set up nationals. And all they did was they put this railing up. Just a little railing, maybe this thick. And you could just walk right up to it. So in the feature match was so if you were facing there, it was the far right. And then there were rows and rows going back. So we watched pretty much every round over there. I mean, I was maybe 5 feet away from him at most, if even that. There was a huge group of people. And you could see right in, you could see what's in his hand. I don't remember at what point in the match it happened, but he did his usual where he stands up on his chair like this, and he's up here, and he's shuffling his cards in between his lap, whatever. And at that point, you could see down there was something under his legs, but he sits tight, but his legs are wide open. So something was on the chair. You couldn't tell what it was. You just got a glimmer of it, but he's moving around so fast. He sits back down, he climbs back up. 2 or 3 times he did that. Finally on the third, it was either the second or third when the group was like, there's something on that chair. There's something on that chair. Don't know what it is. So on the third one, somebody finds like, we got to call a judge. We get the judge to come over, and he gets up, and there's the Cadaverous Bloom sitting on the chair. So then the judges confer. I don't know how much time it took, but it was maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. They come over and they give him a match loss, which does nothing because he's already qualified for the top 8 at 11-0. So
they had a feature match area set up. So when my match ended, I was kind of surprised. The feature match was still going for some reason. And it's because there was this long delay, right? There was this pause. And so I'm sort of wandering over to the feature match area trying to figure out what's going on, and people are buzzing about it. And yeah, Mike Long had a Cadaverous Bloom, I think, what was it, under his chair on the ground, or in his lap was the way it was heard. And the judges had found this, the judges had stopped the match. And so, yeah, there's this buzz that, Long's been caught. Long's finally been caught. Mike Long certainly had a reputation as a cheater. I mean, this was something that you had to look out for. It was kind of the wild, wild west of Magic. And there were people that you kind of knew you had to watch pretty close, that they were going to try to get away with something. They let you get away with something. And, Mike Long was the most notorious of these people. Mike Long also had a charisma about him where he was trying to get edges. He had like a wrestling background, and he would just do all kinds of weird stuff, like sit perched up on his chair. Like, is he trying to intimidate you? Is he trying to see your hand because he's up higher than he should be because he's perched on his chair weird? Like, there were a lot of people who were worried about Mike from a lot of different angles. And nobody trusted the judges to catch people and punish people when they did catch them. Like there's a little bit of energy from Wizards where it seemed like, they liked a bit of a professional wrestling vibe. Like they weren't unhappy if there were villains in the story, and they thought that, if we've got good guys and bad guys, it's going to make the product more compelling, when more people are going to tune in to watch if you've got some bad guys in the narrative. So Wizards wasn't entirely trusted to drive the cheaters out of the game. A lot of us felt like, yeah, we have to look out and watch watch out for people. Anyway, so Mike is the most notorious of these people, and now it feels like he's been caught dead to rights. And so the buzz is, wow, Longsky, he's not going to make top 8. He's going to get kicked out of the tournament. You get a little bit of like, who's going to make top 8 in Mike's spot. And so this feature match is just kind of paused while the judges are trying to figure out what they're going to do. And eventually, I guess, they decide they're not going to kick him out of the tournament. Right? So he gets to make top 8 anyway, and definitely a controversial decision.
I think he was undefeated in the tournament at that point. I'm almost sure he was. And I think that might have been a cause of maybe what happened, because to say you just steamroll the tournament is pretty cool. So I didn't know what happened at the I was playing. I think I was playing because I think I remember being seated, or maybe I was watching. Don't remember exactly, but there was definitely a lot of judges at the top table, and I remember being like, what's going on? So, and then after, everyone kind of got the story, and there was a lot of chatter about it, and it was like, how wasn't he DQ'd? A lot of that. And it's these days, if that happened, you are immediately gone. Even if you have it slipped out of my hand. I don't know what the excuse was, but pretty much no chance that would fly these days. Everyone was just there was a bloom in the lap. That was kind of the phrase that was going out around the tournament center. And without knowing what happened, but obviously it's extremely shady, and you can take your guesses at what happened, but yeah, it was. And it would have been, that he could have got DQ'd, and then he was going to be first seed almost automatically. So it's would you put that on the line to just go undefeated? But knowing Mike, I think he might would, because he was such a perfectionist, so to speak. So who knows? Whatever. I've never heard the floor that it was on the floor. That's at least better to me than under the thigh, because at least if it's on the floor, a card could have gotten shuffled and it just dropped on the floor, right? But if there's a card on the floor and you're oh, I have an itch on my ankle, I'm gonna pick up, so nothing absolves him of what happened. But it like you said, it's a game of telephone. No one, unless the people at table 2 probably kind of knows exactly what happened, right? Obviously Mike did, but
and then the last round of the Swiss, I was beating down on Bryce Kearns, which, by the way, was going to knock him out of the tournament, but I was going to knock him out. I think I was up 1-0 and shuffling, and then somebody from the crowd pointed out that one of my cards was on the floor, and it was face down, so I couldn't see what it was at the time. So I reached down to pick it up, and it was a cadaverous bloom. So I picked it up and put it back in my deck, and I kind of looked around to see what was going to happen, because I'm Mike Long, and you got to see if anything's happened. It was innocent enough mistake. Pete was actually playing to make top 8, and I was mostly watching his game at the time. My game wasn't of much consequence, so it must have been while I was distracting watching him that the card dropped from my deck all the way to the floor, where it was underneath my chair on the floor.
Dude, I watched Mike's tournament most of the games. Wanted to see how some of the top players who had been there before played and how they were getting it done. I thought Mike's techniques for cheating that day were not on point. I certainly respect Mike Long as a cheater. I cheated plenty of times myself. Okay, first of all, his legs are up, right? They're kind of even with his waist. So his hands, His knees are above the table. So if he's shuffling at knee level, his knees are a horizontal disguise, like blinder for the crowd, for a camera, or for anything else. Probably aren't going to catch it like him sliding a card off the bottom of the deck when your hands are like molded on it. You know, like if I'm shuffling and I slip out like that onto my lap, you know, nobody's going to see that if I do it right. And then like I said, I can crouch and hide it. There's ways to disguise it in there. And then during the match, at any point, dude, like when I need that fucker and it's time to blow, right out of the lap. Right out of the lap, dude. I could easily pull that out of my lap and no one would ever see the difference. All I have to do is say, "Can I see your graveyard?" That's all I would have to do is say, can I see your graveyard?" Lean in, throw a hand out, keep this hand in, let me see your graveyard, pull it out of your lap. I mean, that's how I would do it. And I cheated a lot. So, I mean, I'm just saying. I would definitely do something like that if I was trying to win 50K. He will probably claim for the rest of his life that he didn't cheat. They didn't know that somehow the cadaverous bloom. This guy's a technical specialist. Okay. There's no fucking way I ever believe in my entire life that he didn't know where all his cards were at all times. You can't tell me somebody who's that meticulous doesn't know where their shit is. They know exactly where it is. They know where your shit is. They know where the next guy's shit is. They know where this guy's eyes are. They know where that judge's eyes are. And they know when to interrupt the right moment at the right time to get everybody smack dab surprised. What happened? I don't know. You got to create the moment. And he's really good at it.
Let's understand what's going on. If the card was ever in his chair, where from his perch he can lead down, like this is constructive possession. He could add that to his hand at any moment in time. That's a major violation. So that's my final take on it. And then yeah, obviously the big thing that's crazy was that, you know, if it was an attempted okey doke. It was a weird thing to do at 11-0, that's for sure. Mike Long's my dog, though. I don't want to bash him too hard, you know. But I've made a lot of mistakes in my past. You know?
Look, so let's say you had a bloom on your lap or on your chair because you're perched in such a way that you don't even have a lap. And let's say the judges are coming over and like they suspect it. You shove it onto the ground, right? If it winds up on the ground, that doesn't mean that it was on the ground. Like if he's actually cheating, which I don't know, I guess I think is likely, but I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I don't know for sure. It's of course you would shove it onto the ground like it just fell out of your deck, like rather than have it in the easily accessible chair portion. Like I heard both versions. I didn't see it, so all my information is hearsay. I don't actually know anything. But yeah, my impression is, was it on his lap? Was it on his chair? Was it on the ground? I think it wound up on the ground by the time the judges found it, which gave him some tiny shred of, I guess, enough plausible deniability to get away with it.
You can make small little procedural errors, but there's no way that a card that is an integral part of a combo deck, one of its key pieces, winds up outside of your deck once the game has begun. There's no way that you start the game without knowing that your deck is missing a card. It's too important. Honestly, it's just too ingrained. Anybody playing at that level has a certain sequence of things that they do at the start of every game, because we've shuffled up and pile shuffled and shuffled the decks and counted them thousands and thousands and thousands of times. It's so algorithmic that if there's any deviation from that, alarm bells are going to instantly go off. You get so familiar with how 60 cards feel that you can literally pick your deck up and you can just tell that it's missing a card or that it has an extra card in it. And so I don't understand how the card gets into Long's lap if he doesn't put it there intentionally. How does that happen? So if I had to sort of like bang a gavel in the situation, I would say the odds favor that he did something untoward.
So this is very much looking like Mike Long is going to be U.S. national champion.
So good. God.
Gloom.
So there's Gloom.
He done.
All right, Lenny needs some planes fast.
Matt Linde is someone in a position of just happy to be here, so you can tell he's
Yeah.
not very upset at losing, but
There's one planes.
It's so warm you could come out, but I just hit you before. Sorry, what am I at? Done.
Does he have everything in his hand right now?
he does not have a Cadaverous Bloom.
And he has Meditate and Contract?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He doesn't have blue mana right now either. But he has Natural Balance.
He has a natural balance.
Okay, Life Tales are what? Long at 10? Linde
Long
at 20?
is not low enough. Linde can't cast anything in his hand. Long's at 8.
Green mana. Green.
Yeah, I think Long is not happy about his 4 forests, though.
Bust him down. Almost good.
There's Abeyance. Bash.
That's every forest in Mike Long's
Okay,
deck.
I'll beat
Maybe
you.
he'll
Yeah.
sack him and forget he doesn't need a green to cast Bloom,
See.
which I did at regional.
Wow. Very impressive. Well,
No flying
you know what
for
may
mana.
happen here? He may have to cast Natural Balance, and he may get Abeyance by Linde before he can even do anything. Draw an island.
Yeah.
Or a bloom.
Is that a gemstone move?
No, it's an Emerald Charm.
Emerald Charm.
Okay, he has to balance, which means he's going to get Abayanced in response to the... As soon as the
Wow.
balance of all.
That is unreal.
He wins. Linde will win this game.
That is absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe that Linde
He's going to win?
is going to win this game. Unreal. He has an Abeyance in his hand. Are you
Yeah.
100% certain of this
100%
fact?
certain.
Please do not
Right
get
side
my
of his
hopes
hand.
up.
The right side of his hand is an Abeyance.
Unbelievable. A game that looked so over that the crowd thought the game was over. We thought the game was over. Mike Long thought the game was over. I think Mike Long needs to borrow the pen again.
Some bad. Write it all over his forests.
Did Mike Long leave green in his pool?
Okay, I've not let land.
Okay, so all he has to do is Abeyance him in response to the first spell that he
Yeah,
casts.
this
which is
Abeyance in
probably
response to
Meditate,
anything.
Which is probably Meditate. He better do it, though. That's the question. He still has to do it.
I think he knows. If he doesn't abeyance him, I will personally
Jason Gordon,
crush him.
Jason Gordon did not counterspell. Wait, up there it is. He says
Here it
stop.
comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Better
Happy
make-
birthday, Mike.
Good game.
And we're going to game 5.
I've never heard a louder crowd reaction. And I've been in the booth for like 100 Pro Tour level events, right? I've been in the crowd, I've been in the booth, I've been watching. I've never heard it louder than that. And the part that sticks with me is, so we're in this one room in the Origins Convention Hall. They're actually playing. They're like way down the hall. They're like, 3 ballrooms down the hall. They're totally sequestered, right? Except the crowd is long enough that Mike hears the roar. And like you see Mike look over his shoulder toward the hallway at one point. That's the roar. He heard it. He's not supposed to be able to hear anything from the crowd. That's how loud it was. And just like the dawning realization in his eyes is just, that's the memory I keep from this thing, is that roar and that look from Mike, almost panicked. That was just a hell of a moment.
When they thought I was going to lose, Pikula, I remember, was like, oh, Mike Long's going to, like, because they don't have a good history. So I mean, I only know this watching it back, but, when they thought I was going to lose, he was like actively upset. I remember from the video. And then like when he kept drawing forests that had a natural balance for other lands, I got the natural balance up to 5. So that my Banes was turned on through a Gloom, which was the game sealer.
So it's come down to one final game to decide the championship between Mike Long and Matt Linde. Okay, Long needs black mana more than anything in the world.
He has a power sink, so he can hold off the beating for a while.
So
He's going to power
sometimes
sink
U.S.
this for
national
one.
championships are decided by like little things.
Like swamps. Draw a swamp.
Nope.
Oh boy.
That's
Was it?
some good.
Or what?
Untap upkeep drum or whatever.
Oh boy.
Still no black mana for Mike Long.
He's got another priest and a warrior.
So this is all about the race to any of the 14 black or
14
13 black mana sources Mike Long has in his deck.
What's that? Yeah.
Does he draw one?
Gloom. Gloom
Oh, the
number
irony
3.
of this. 3 glooms in hand and no mana to cast them with.
Yeah. Go.
He's still got time.
There's not enough pressure on though right now. Is that the Aura of Silence? We're in good shape. Oh, there's Emerald Charm in Mike Long's hand. He does not have an aura.
Lindy's getting kind of excited here. That takes Long down to 15 life. All right, 3 turns to draw black mana.
No,
Cadaverous
Bloom.
Oh my god.
Discards a Gloom.
Some bad.
Good. Kill me.
A ban during upkeep.
It doesn't stop Gloom, unfortunately. Cast another creature.
No reason to cast anything. He has a disenchant in his hand.
Oh,
He
very
can't kill him. He can't kill him next turn. He has a disenchant in hand.
All right, very true. He should be
He should
done.
just say
yeah.
done.
Of 8. Oh no.
City of
Oh,
Brass.
there's a problem.
One more turn for you, Mike. Now the question is, does he hold back in Vampiric Tutor at the end of the turn and get? What could he possibly get? Does he have natural
And then
balance
he
in
gets
hand?
then he gets a ban.
Then he gets advanced. Lindy has armor in hand now, so armor comes down one of those creatures and Long dies immediately.
Mike Long
If he casts,
is very likely dead.
he has to cast Gloom.
He has to cast Gloom, untap, and hope.
And draw what?
Squander?
Possibly draw. Squander resources? But he'd have no mana. He can't do anything with it.
He can kind of do not that much.
Is there any way that Long can mathematically win this game? He doesn't have Lotus Petals.
I have to see his entire hand. I don't know what his entire hand is. Yeah, he has a Bloom. He does not have it. He does not have. He doesn't have another land.
He doesn't have another land, so he can't draw Squander resources and a land in the next draw phase.
Well, all right. All right, I guess he can.
I think Brian says, I think to win, Mike would have to draw squandered resources and a land, maybe is what he says. And he can't do that. And I say, oh, well, or something like that, implying that maybe he can. And Brian and I both know that what I'm implying is that he could just draw an extra card. Yeah, I don't remember if they asked us to not say things like that, or if we just sort of, I don't know. I don't know if we edited or we just felt that it was funnier to not explain the joke. I don't know. Probably.
I think it's Pikula who says it. I think he's, maybe I said it. I don't really remember, but of course it was unscripted and so perfect. Long needs to draw 2 cards right now, right? The only way that he gets out of this situation is drawing 2. And then we both pause and we go, I mean, you can't do that. But it is Mike Long.
But
Probably not going to pull that off. Okay, I don't think that there's any way that Long can win this. Interesting enough, neither player is saying a word here.
So once again, whenever a relative unknown wins a major Magic tournament, it's with White Weenie.
Could sort of possibly be if I had a Dark Ritual in my deck. Hammer would be very happy.
I only played 2 in my Boom deck.
You played 2 Dark Rituals? Hush.
Lindy's now toying with Long.
Yeah, Lindy just
telling
said
him
that
he had Dark Rituals in his Bloom deck.
They're so good. First turn Gloom.
You suppose those guys are going to be attacking next turn?
I think so.
This guy's looking pensive. Why don't we just put him over here?
Maybe.
He's going to hang out.
Okay.
Just put him back here.
Okay.
That over there.
He'll be like.
Sure.
Ooh, what happened to my
you can
Sultari
tap
Monk?
the mana if you want.
I'd like to say that I'd like the crowd to take into consideration you can't go crazy with disappointment when Mike Long isn't national champion. Please, no rioting. Leave the chairs where they are. Long's doing the math, but I don't think it's going to get him
Can't do
anywhere.
anything. There's no cards left.
Matt Linde wins a quick $25,000.
He doesn't even cast. Doesn't even cast Gloom.
Go ahead. I mean, if you want to go on, because
Armor, mash.
Think he'll forget the priest is there? Because that would be unreal.
Verdant touch buyback. Bastard.
He doesn't armor.
He didn't armor.
I guess he just knows he can
He can
advance
advance,
during upkeep.
Oh, he does have the power save. That's true.
You go.
Long thinks tutor. Long says, "What can I tutor for? Black Lotus."
He's certainly not going to meditate.
Probably not.
Abeyance is so powerful against Bloom.
It is.
It's like it's its biggest friend and its biggest enemy.
Yep. Look at his hand. Disenchant, disenchant, abeyance, and an Ice Age Claims.
Oh, hush.
Liddy says, I might have an upkeep effect.
You have her tutor during your discard phase. Pay 3 life, I'm at 2. Or I take a point damage and then pay 2 life.
Tutor for Dread of Night, cast it. Oh wait, he doesn't have that.
That's true.
Whoops.
Dread of Night would get disenchanted, though.
What? It would still kill all three
yeah, it would
creatures.
still kill all the
And Liddy
creatures.
has no more creatures in his hand.
That's very true. He doesn't have a warrior in core.
In fact, if Long had 3 Dread of Nights this game instead of 3 Glooms, I think he would probably win.
I know what you got by that.
It's very
hand,
possible.
Mike.
But there's another game where we aren't sure what would have happened if he had.
I still think Dread of Night's better. Imagine that. Those 3 Glooms are 3 Dread of Nights.
Untap.
Untap.
Upkeep.
Upkeep. Draw.
What is he doing?
Why is he not advancing
Why is he
right
not
now?
advancing him?
Point for black, point for green, play a Swander.
Abeyance in response?
Just abeyance him already. Abeyance him before something horrid happens.
Nothing horrid can happen.
I
though.
know, but
He can't even natural balance. Can't do
I would
anything.
abeyance him 20 minutes ago.
Blue.
It's not a good deal here, Mike.
Swander. Swander. Meditate.
Bane one.
Sure.
Good game. Disenchant the score on a resource.
Disenchant square. That kicked me in the nuts.
That's about it. Oh, and
that's
there's
it.
the handshake we've all been waiting for.
Matt Linde is national
Matt Linde
champion.
is national champion.
After I won, and like it was over, I just hear this like eruption, and then my head's going. I was just like, did I actually just win this? Like, my brain's going everywhere. It was like the coolest feeling. It was like the closest I'm gonna come, to a professional athlete scoring like a touchdown in the NFL or whatever, hitting a game winner in the NBA or like whatever analogy you want to make, but. It was fantastic hearing the energy from the crowd.
I remember thinking at the end of it, like I just was really happy that because a lot of times the good guys don't get to win, and Lindy's a good dude, and Mike isn't, and so or at least wasn't. I won't make a comment in 2025, but at the time, we were all really happy for Matt. We were also really happy that it happened to be against Mike. I won't lie.
It didn't necessarily have to be me, but I think the way it was scripted was perfect, where it's like you obviously have this villain, right? Like, and Mike was the first villain of Magic. Like, I mean, that he was, and to be honest, I think he wanted that. Like, I think that was intentional on his part. And that's why Rosewater like wanted him in the Hall of Fame, because he was the first actual like kind of like character in Magic. He was like, he knew he was a nemesis, and he embraced it, right? You know, just like, you know, any, you know, Darth Vader, whatever movie villain you want to compare him to, he embraced that. Like, I know that everyone's against me, and like he wanted that, right? So then you have this like 16-year-old first big tournament, innocent kid, like could obviously tell from the video that was nervous as can be, you know, shake, you know, like even though I know Mike, like from local play before that, like obviously this a huge stage for me. So it was just like this like good versus, I mean, you know, good versus evil sort of like biblical. I mean, that's why Chris was in the commentary was so like, you know, vocal about it. Like his disdain for Mike came across even when he was commentating.
When I rewatched it, I was kind of surprised at how my anti-Mike bias only comes out a few times, really. There's other tournaments where I think it's much stronger, right? I've done much more biased commentary than that. Although maybe they took out some of the more biased stuff, obviously. Like I don't remember what made it in and what made it out.
You know, the way it shook out, you know, obviously I'm glad how it happened. You know, Mike probably wasn't, but
I was pretty happy. I really felt like I'd won. I was really happy with the result. I was really happy for Matt. Who the hell doesn't want to see this, you know, the protege beat the masters? I mean, who doesn't want to see that? Like, do you think that part of me wasn't rooting for him to beat me? Rosewater admitted it in his article, the long story article. He says, look, you know, it was good for business to have Mike Long as a bit of a villain. You know, it was something that they exaggerated, something that they created.
People connect to people. Like, people want to root for or against people. And so what we wanted to do was, well, who are the people in the game that both are good and also charismatic? I mean, and when I say charismatic, I mean you want to watch them. Mike Long, very charismatic. Now, given most people were rooting against him, but he drew crowds like nobody's business. They loved to root against him. And so my job was to figure out and find the people, because pretty much the point of the feature matches was building up celebrities, and then the finals was picking which matches to show. And so I felt like my job was sort of building celebrities. And in order to do that, I was big on, you know, really taking some aspect of them and pushing that aspect. And that, you know, people really wanted to have, you know, the guy that's the best in the game, and people wanted to have the villain, and people wanted to have these different things. And so we created them. I mean, they were there. I'm not saying that Mike Long doesn't have the qualities that he has, or that Mark Justice didn't have the qualities that he had, but we definitely played them up. You know, that people wanted to see Mike Long as a villain, fine, we played that up. You know, and we've talked before, like one of the things that saddens me, the fact that Mike isn't in the Hall of Fame is we actively played him up as a bad guy because it made sense for the Pro Tour, and that there's plenty of other people, some of which are even in the Hall of Fame, that we could have made choices with them. There were seeds in some other players that if we wanted to make them the bad guy, we could have, but we didn't. We made Mike the bad guy because, to be honest, he was a great bad guy.
Long drew a crowd. Absolutely. Everybody wanted to watch him lose. There's no question that. But I definitely think you can question whether Wizards was right to set up an environment where there were cheaters running around that the players had to kind of watch out for. However, if their goal was, how can we create compelling drama? How can we get people to show up and watch the stream? They were kind of right. It worked. People wanted to watch Mike. And I've never in my life seen a crowd more into a match than the Long Lindy final.
I don't know which event it was. It was some event I think I didn't attend, actually. But Mike Long made it to the top 8 again. And Mike Long plays in the quarterfinals. And it's a packed house of people on site to sit in the crowd with the little earpieces watching the commentary and watching Mike Long play. And Mike Long wins his quarterfinal match. And they go to the semifinals, and Mike Long's match rolls around, and it's a packed house while he plays. And he loses in the semis. And when the finals roll around, crickets. There's no one there to watch it. No one even cares anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I get the case for the, like, pro wrestling, make it an entertainment event, but that isn't what I wanted competitive Magic to be, right? That isn't what I wanted to participate in. It sucked for the competitors who were sort of forced to try to police it. So it ultimately isn't what I wanted Magic to be. And no, I did not vote for Mike. I could understand the case. I didn't agree with it.
Mark is never shy about sharing opinions, and he even appreciates it when they're controversial. But I think that this goes down as one of his poorer opinions in his lifetime. It's like, have some respect for the game. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we need a villain in there. It's like, no, it's like, have some respect for the people who are like playing, and the people who are cheated out of opportunities by Mike.
I think what people know of Mike is kind of what we sold of him. You know what I'm saying? That it's really weird for me in that there are other players and other people that did things, but well, we really didn't play that up. You know, I mean, behind the scenes, you know, like one of my jobs, because I was sort of the conduit with the players, is if somebody did something that's a little shady, let's say, but they'd never done anything before, my job was to sort of pull them aside and go, hey, something happened. You know, we're going to assume this is just coincidence, but we're watching you. I mean, if this happens again, that would be bad. I'm sure it's an accident this time, just coincidence, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you do that again, we're paying attention. And I gave that speech to a lot of players. I mean, I won't name names, but I mean, a lot of players might surprise people who, you know, I had to sit down and give them the speech. And I feel like Mike is the person who we made public, who like, it was public we gave him the speech, and, you know, we really played that up.
Mark always tried to claim, you know, Mark kind of like wanted Mike to be a villain without cheating. You know what I mean? Like he just thought that was always part of the big disagreement, where like Mark was like, there has to be villains. And we were like, this is not about him being a jerk. Like, this isn't about like he's, you know, he trash talks, or he's like, or like cocky, or this isn't about some like he is those things, but that's not why that was always the kind of real, like all the talk of like, they want to build like a villain to try to have a storyline. They still never admitted that the villain part was because he was cheating. They just thought it's because they wanted to act like it was because he was a jerk, or because he wasn't part of the, like, you know, it was from like a slightly different part of the country, and not part of like the same social circle as like most of the pros or whatever. And yeah, they wanted to paint it as some sort of other rivalry. And we were all just like, no, the guy is cheating. Like, this isn't like this is not a clash of personalities. He is stealing from us.
Wizards eventually came to value having a sort of fair environment for their competition more than having an entertainment product. I will say, I think if Mike had never cheated, he was good enough at Magic that he could have wound up in the Pro Tour Hall of Fame. The man was very good. He understood decks, he understood matchups, he understood the game at a level that, you know, I think there was a point where he was the best player in the world. Like, even if, I don't know how, it's hard to know how much of that is because of edges he was getting that were outside the rules. But like, based on my interaction with him and like how sharp he was in his understanding of the game, like, I don't think he had to do all of that to win.
I'm glad I could save the day, I guess, so to speak. I don't know, whatever.
Sorry, not sorry.
Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and join us on Discord.
And if you want to be more like Matt Linde, you can head over to Patreon and join the Barnacle Brigade.
I wanted Lindy to win. You know, it was like good versus evil. Of course, I was on the side of light.